Welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel and to episode number 20 of the weekly recap and upcoming weekly preview. Ton to cover. We made it to number 20, which is really, really cool with our weekly recap. But yeah, it was really an insane week. Thursday had all the ups and downs you could possibly imagine. CPI reports did what I thought it was going to do, which was crush the market. And then out of nowhere, we saw this huge bullish momentum, these huge intraday reversal candles to the upside that were very, very surprising. Why did they happen? They happened because we're in this clown market, and I don't know what to tell you. I just feel like people are losing their minds. Ever since COVID, it feels like people are losing their minds. But this narrative started kind of creating buy pressure, basically stating that the Biden administration had come up with this really kind of funky way of showing that that inflation is actually not that bad. And they kind of cherry picked a few months to make it seem like, and they annualized it and to make it seem like inflation was not that bad. And then all this money poured into the markets. It just goes to show how people are just, with a lot of money, are ready to get in there, looking for any excuse to get in there. And when things turn around, they're going to turn up huge. So I'm incredibly bullish on crypto long term. I'm actually already DCAing. We're going to talk about a couple of those alts that I already started DCAing into. Even though I do expect more downside, I could be wrong. Maybe we did find a bottom, maybe we didn't. I don't think we found a bottom, but maybe we did. But I did start DCAing the last couple of weeks into two different projects that I believe in very, very strongly. So we're going to cover those. I'm going to show you a couple charts, a couple of big alt charts that many of you watching may own right now that looks so ugly and so scary that I had to cover it because you got to be careful with these alts right now, especially with more downside coming ahead. Will we have a Black Monday? We've been talking about a possible Black Monday, it feels like, for a couple months now. Will this be the week? Will this be the week where we have that horrible Black Monday? Maybe. Signs are kind of showing that that's a very, very big possibility. So definitely tread carefully the next few days. But yeah, let's get into the charts. But before we do that, huge thank you to Swapsicle, our partner and sponsor. Thanks so much for sponsoring the channel. Appreciate that so much. Go check out Swapsicle. All the links are down below. Fantastic place to swap your crypto, to farm. They have a number of partnerships are constantly building, and they're completely doxed, which I like a lot. And also, if you're looking to short crypto or leverage trading is very, very risky, but go check out Bitget. I have my affiliate link below. It's a great way to support the channel. I use leverage, guys, but I use very low leverage. Very low leverage. I'm a very conservative trader. I've had a great year trading, and I use very low leverage. Don't need to use high leverage to be successful. And you should definitely back test your strategies and work on your strategies. There's ways of doing it within Bitget where it's kind of like paper trading. So you should definitely check that out. All right, guys, so let's get into it because these charts look all sorts of ugly, even uglier than this punt by the Dolphins. All right, let's get into the charts. All right, so we're going to start by looking at the U.S. strategic crude reserves. They are at the lowest level since 1984. So Biden administration is doing everything possible for the midterms, which are coming up in 3 weeks, to kind of make it seem like inflation's not out of control in hopes that it will help their chances of winning the House and the Senate. But look, guys, at the end of the day, just use common sense. When you go to a grocery store, when you go to restaurants, the costs are out of control. Inflation is out of control. We do not want hyperinflation in this country. If you want to see what happens when you have hyperinflation, look what's happening across most of Europe with that currency, and it's only going to get worse. So they're trying to make it seem like inflation is not a big problem, like Powell doesn't need to bring some pain to the economy, but that is nonsense. We do not want hyperinflation. Look, I know it sucks our 401ks are dropping and all that stuff. There's going to be some job losses, all that stuff. It is going to happen, but our 401ks will be fine. By the time we retire, our 401ks will, have already gone through several bull runs and bear runs, right? So what's really important is that we control inflation. We do not want hyperinflation. That is a problem that may not be able to be solved. Our 401ks will be fine in time. So looking at this, this is pretty telling of what's happening. So it's only a matter of time before we see the prices at the gas pumps also reflecting what's happening with the macro. So this was a pretty interesting chart that I wanted to share with you guys. So looking at Bitcoin, yeah, it's looking pretty ugly. Doesn't look good at all. We have right down here, we've been testing this, right? So we've been kind of ranging, and we've been testing this area right here that I've highlighted kind of like in blue and purple. And we have wicked down below it several times, but we haven't really had too many closes down there. And looking at where I think we will be going moving forward, I mean, it's really hard to gauge. That way, you know, there's people that have kind of like the bull, and I've seen this picture of a bull with or bear with horns looking like a bull, because you know this things look pretty. For some, it could be easy to think, well, we'll still have a little pump and things like that will happen. But at the end of the day, this wick to me was very telling. And you know, we hit the bottom side of this range enough times, we're going to go right through it. And I think it's only a matter of time before we test that 17.5. I really, really do. Time will tell. I could be wrong. But you know, you kind of mess with the danger there enough times, you're gonna feel it. So it'll be very interesting to see if 17.5 happens again, or if we go and kind of test this area. So even during the craziness on Thursday, Bitcoin was not able to look. I hadn't redrawn that at all, and it basically hit it and bounced off it really, really hard as far as that kind of like 19,891 important level. So you know, any close of Bitcoin above 19,900. Okay, now I'm curious. Now let's see what happens. But until then, you got to stay very, very cautious, very, very bearish. And you know, Ethereum looks really to me no different. It did show quite a bit of strength because I had this trend line drawn for months or weeks, for a really long time. I can't remember, and it went through it like nothing. But then when it tested it back as support, it didn't hold either. So here we are below it again. Tried to get to it, was not strong enough. And yeah, we're nowhere close to 1421, which is going to be really, really ugly resistance, I think, whenever it gets to it, whenever that will be. So yeah, I mean, Ethereum just seems to be following Bitcoin, but it's really not looking good at all. If you see on the 4-hour, negative momentum's definitely building. And yeah, there's just nothing to be bullish right now. I just don't see how you can be bullish on the daily. The momentum is starting to wane a little bit, but I'm just really worried about what's going to happen on Monday. I feel like these traditional markets are just ready to really implode. Who knows what the next big bad news event is going to happen, but you got to figure there's another one looming because so much of the market just seems already broken, which is really crazy considering that with the quantitative tightening, the Fed has only sold like 2% of the books. What a scary number, right? So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's up to 3 or 4% by now. But last time I checked, it was 2%. And that was like on Monday. So it's probably still at 2%. But yeah, so that's looking all sorts of bearish. I mean, there's just nothing to be bullish about. You know, this has been the gift that keeps on giving. Just after a big pump, shorting lunacy. Luna Classic, and I think I've traded this probably like 15, 20 times now. I've only had to take one loss. I actually took it last Sunday. It was the first time I had to take a loss on this asset, I believe. I may have had another loss here and there, but I think I shorted it twice since that loss and more than got my funds back from the L I took on Sunday. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff here, and we'll see what happens here. But I've been just patiently waiting for pumps. Anytime I see a pump, and then the next candle shows weakness, I short. And it's been a really, really good way to increase my holdings and increase my crypto by just doing this. So we'll see when the next pump happens. But right now it's looking all sorts of bearish. And I think that long term, I just don't see any reason why I won't be down here again. And then probably worse. But, you know, when they made that huge announcement about the burn with Binance, that's where you saw the big candle. I think it's going to give it all back in time. So I think we'll be back down here at these levels in time if you're just a little patient. And it's just been such a great asset to short after a pump. I mean, it's just been like literally free money. And it's been happening because I think that a lot of the big VCs and a lot of big funds that lost a lot of money with Luna, I think they figured out how to make money with this asset, just taking advantage of all the, you know, moon boys and those that don't understand math and don't really do their due diligence, and they just get wrecked. You know, the average trader gets wrecked. The average trader does not make money in crypto, and unfortunately, that's one of the situations. But look, it's not. We're not singing kumbaya and all holding hands. So, you know, the profitable traders need bad traders. It's just, you know, it's just that kind of world. All right, so XRP, this is an asset that looked really, really good. And I thought was going to push to maybe as high as like 58 cents. I thought it was kind of headed towards there, but now it's looking really, really bearish. It's just kind of following what Ethereum and Bitcoin are doing. And even on the 4 hour, it's starting to look weak again, despite the fact that it's dropped so much just in a few, since last, what was it, on the 9th? What's today, the 15th? Yeah, so just in 6 days, it's dropped quite a bit, right? So it's dropped almost about 13% or so. So and it dropped even further when things got crazy on Thursday. So if Bitcoin implodes, which is definitely a possibility, yeah, I mean this asset could definitely drop quite a bit, and 32 cents could be very much in play again in time. So this is a chart that's looking pretty ugly, and pretty interesting. So, right, you have the top here on this wick on Thursday, the 22nd of September. And then you see another top here, top out on the 9th, definitely lower. And I think now you're seeing another lower high right here. So you're just going to start seeing those lower highs. So maybe you'll try to make another run somewhere lower than 51 cents, and then probably, start seeing more lows. So things not looking good at all for the XRP army. Elron's still looking pretty solid. I actually have taken, I think, like 3 or 4 long trades just in the last week. All of them were profitable. One of them I sold way too soon, but it's okay. I sold before this candle last night. So yeah, that was kind of frustrating waking up this morning and realizing that if I would not have gotten out of my trade there, I would have made quite a bit more, but that's okay. And then ADA is one that I wanted to cover. This asset looks so incredibly bearish. I would not feel comfortable even DCAing into ADA anytime soon, even if I love it long term. I mean, this asset just looks so bad. This is actually not the right chart that I wanted to show, but it did break its structure, and kind of like below the kind of 38 cents. It was kind of like uh-oh time for ADA. And yeah, unfortunately for ADA, I do not see a scenario where it doesn't drop to at least the 20s. So this is one of the assets that I wanted to warn about. ADA just looks incredibly, guys, incredibly bearish in my opinion. And I think that it's, negative momentum is just starting to build. And this is an asset that I think is going to drop quite a bit in the next few weeks. Quite a bit. It's oversold, so maybe you'll make some kind of little run before it starts dropping again. So this may not be the best time to open up a fresh short, but bottom line, this asset could not look worse, and definitely expecting ADA to be in the 20s, in the kind of the high 20 cents sooner rather than later. So we will see. But even though I am bearish in the short term, you never know what's going to happen. So what I did start doing the last couple of weeks is more aggressively DCAing into a couple assets with part of what I'm making with my leverage trading. So the 2 assets that I picked, one of them, it's kind of like, there's really not much to say. It's Ethereum. So why did I start DCAing already, even though I still think that it's probably headed to 1,040, 1,020? Because what if I'm wrong? And I don't want to just wait for the bottom and then miss out at great prices, right? Because I am very bullish on Ethereum long term. I mean, the fact that when things are hopping again, it's a bull run. We got NFTs going on. We got DeFi doing better. We have more liquidity in the markets, more transactions. It's going to be all sorts of deflationary, right? So throw that into the mix. Every bull run, it seems to like 3x the previous bull run. Throw that into the mix. And just the fact that so many more people are in crypto. I just heard the other day that I think it was 42% of Americans below the age, I want to say 40 or 35, own crypto, which is incredibly bullish. Like, you can no longer say, "Oh, we're early." We're not early anymore. I mean, this has become a big part of the picture. And then when you see regulation coming, that is going to really make Ethereum and Bitcoin blow up. Just watch. When regulation comes, the big money that can actually really put a ton of money into things. They're going to be in there in a number of different ways. That will really change things. So I don't want to miss all that, because I think that a 15K Ethereum in the next bull run makes a lot of sense. So at least. So I did start DCAing. I got a couple of more Ethereum this week, and I'll keep DCAing with part of my profits and just try to add to my Ethereum bag. And the other one that I am DCAing into, and again, this is not financial advice, this is just my channel. I tell you guys what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. And the other one that I'm DCAing into, pretty aggressive the last couple of weeks, is Near. I now have 3,000 tokens of Near that I have accumulated over the last 2 weeks just with using a percentage of what I'm making leverage trading. And so yeah, I'm up to 3,000. I said 2 weeks ago, I think when I said I was going to start DCAing into, I wanted to have minimum 5,000 tokens very quickly. And then I'll kind of take my time with maybe the second 5K, but I would like to have 10,000 Near tokens in time. But I do want to kind of catch this, because one thing about Near, even though I did DCA pretty aggressively with the first 3,000 tokens, is the fact that, and I did a bunch of that just on Thursday when it was like at 270. So I bought a decent amount between 330 and 350, and then I bought some more at 270 or 279, I think it was. And I just been DCAing here and there after trades, but it would not be weird at all. It would not be weird at all to see this asset drop to about, I think it was 160, 166. So and here we are at $3. So if it dropped down that low, it would not surprise me. And that's a substantial drop from now. So by DCAing into this asset, I am taking a risk, right? But I'm doing it with a part of what I'm making trading, so that makes it easier for me to not be emotional about it. Because if it does drop to 165, well, this is money I made trading, right? So that kind of helps me out. That's how I deal with the emotional side of trading, or with trying to like DCA in a bear market, which is tricky. So, I just kind of want to be very transparent about where my mind and where I am emotionally in regards to why I'm DCAing into a very risky asset so early. But looking at Near, as you see here, the all-time highs are at 20. And look at that. We got the high, and then we made another run with a big old wick like that on the daily. I mean, if this wasn't an easy spot to short this asset, I don't know what is. But what I was going to say, though, as I thought too much about taking a trade that I never did take, is that this asset did get up to $20. I think in the next bull run, $60 to $100 per Near token makes a lot of sense to me. I know I sound like a moon boy. I don't care. I'm not paid by Near. I've never talked to anyone with Near, so don't think that this is a promotional thing. I just think that this asset is very, very strong for a number of factors. Now, I like the technical part of it. I'm not a dev. I can't get too technical. I'm just a trader. Actually, I'm a business guy. I'm a business owner that also trades on the side. So I do want to make that very clear. But at the end of and I'm not a financial advisor, but at the end of the day, I think that their tech is amazing. Go read about it. Go check it out. They have like the ability to have like scalability that's infinite. They are backed by VC money, and they are, of all the tokens, of the 21,000 tokens that are out there right now, they have they're number 2 as to what project has received the most VC funding post-launch. That's a big, big number. They're the second biggest. So that tells you that these guys are going to make damn sure that these guys succeed. Technically, fundamentally, from marketing perspective, from all of it. This project is going to succeed because they're going to make damn sure it happens. I've seen it many times in my 5 years in crypto, how that's a thing. Very important thing to note. So these guys are going to succeed. Now, they are going to be competing with assets like Cadena, like Solana. Cadena I'm not that worried about. I actually have become less bullish on Cadena the more I've kind of dived into that project. Not as strong as I thought. They're actually like a poor man's Near, to be quite honest. So Cadena fam, if you guys are watching, or Cadena Army, whatever, sorry, I'm just being honest. But Solana is faster than Near. Now, they're both incredibly faster than Ethereum, but Solana is faster than Near right now. But Solana has a horrible, horrible reputation within the development community, where they basically said that creating and developing and building in Solana is like eating glass. So with that, with all the issues that they've had, the times that a lot of people are questioning if they're a real blockchain because they go down all the time, I think that Near could benefit greatly from all the issues that Solana has. And just looking left, looking at history, we've got to assume Solana is going to keep having all these horrible, horrible issues. So if that's the case, Near is going to be able to kind of swallow up market share from Solana. So even more reason to be bullish on Near. So I'm already DCAing into it. If it drops a ton, then so be it. I will buy more at the lower prices, because I'm telling you guys, whether the bull run peaks in 2024, 2025, who knows, when these crazy clown markets, it could be even before that, or it can be 2026. I have no idea. I just think that the more near that I own, the better off I'll be. And I will be looking to sell all my near at those tops, because if there's one thing that the last bull run taught us is, despite the fact that crypto has grown so much, the bear markets are still going to be awful. So I just wanted to cover that. Other than that, not so much. You guys have asked me a ton about UFO in the DMs. And I appreciate you guys reaching out to me in DMs and all that good stuff. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. I don't want to buy any UFO till it's 6 zeros, because right now it's at about what, 51. So it's at almost a 10x. If it 10x from here, it would be at all-time high. So yes, it's lost a ton of value, but I just think that's going to lose more in these bear markets. So if it drops by another half, and you now made, instead of a 10x, a possible 20x if it gets back to all-time highs during the next bull run. So why not wait? Let it drop another zero, and then that way, instead of buying now and it's only a 10x if it reaches all-time highs, and now becomes, well, if you wait for it to go to half of this and then it loses a zero, it basically half twice. So now your 10x becomes a 40x. So I'm much more interested in a 40x than a 10x. So I'm going to wait on DCA and UFO, even though I am DCAing into near and Ethereum. I just feel like near and Ethereum are a lot less risky than this asset. I mean, who knows? This asset could go to zero in the next bull run because people decide, you know what, we don't care about these guys. But I do want to call out that they are at max supply, so they don't have one of those issues that, say, for example, what's a good one? So like Ethereum, right? We've talked about this asset a little bit, and I know that last time I covered it was at $59. I strongly warned you guys not to buy it just yet. And before that, I think I covered it was like 400 when I told you guys don't buy it just yet. So I know that a bunch of you guys have asked me about this, why I'm so anti-Ethereum. It's just, look guys, look at that circulating supply. 7%. 7%. Yeah, no thanks. So much sell pressure still going to come into this asset. So their market cap is really only 34 million. But their fully diluted market cap, which you are paying for if you decide to buy this token today, $500 million for a game that we don't know if we'll make it. It's a great game. It's a cool game. I've checked it out, but I just don't see it. So $53, do I want to buy this right now? No, thank you. I actually tried to short it when it was at $59, but Bitget doesn't offer shorting for this asset, which made me sad because that was an easy short. So, yeah, but yeah, I think that's about it for today. I think this video is going to be a little longer than I like it to be, but there was a bit to cover. With some of the DeFi projects that we cover, of course, most of them are just kind of hurting, right? Because this is not a great environment for DeFi projects. So if you guys are wondering why I haven't been doing any promo videos for any DeFi projects or AMAs, I haven't gotten that many offers lately. I used to get like a couple a day, and I get like 3 to 4 a week. And I'm just saying no to everyone almost right now because it's just not a great time to invest into these. And I don't want you guys to do things that the math says you should probably avoid right now. So MDB has been the strongest performer, but even it has been struggling of late. So it's, again, not the greatest situation for some of these. Look at that, MDB giving some gains back, even though I think it's a very good project. Danny, the guy running it's a very sharp guy. I think long-term it'll be fine. But, as far as opening fresh longs with any of these assets that we've been covering for weeks, I just don't think this is the time right now. Unless if it's like a very low-risk situation. For example, like with Pebble, which has gotten absolutely destroyed. They have their version 2 now. And that one's incredibly cheap now. It's, I think I don't have the contract Addy. This is the old one, but I think the new one's at like, I don't know, $20 or $12 or $10. I can't even remember. So there, the risk reward maybe a lot better. But yeah, a lot of these assets have just been getting crushed. It's no fault of the project or project owners. It's just basically this macro has destroyed crypto. But at the end of the day, crypto has been a lot more resilient than the traditional markets for the last few weeks. And I think people are really starting to realize the narrative, the true use case for Bitcoin is that it protects you as a store of value. Wrong. It protects you as a hedge to inflation. Wrong. Those things, I don't know why they're all over Twitter and everyone's talking about them. It's wrong. the real use case for Bitcoin is finally starting to come through. It's finally starting to come through, which is the fact that it protects you from the fact that governments, every single one of them, debases their currency. That is where the use case for Bitcoin comes in. And the other night when we saw the British pound get pounded, absolutely pounded, where was the money going? Yeah, we saw it going into the Dixie. We saw it real time, but where else did we see that money going real time? Into Bitcoin, because people are starting to get that. So just think about that. Just think about what that will do for Bitcoin. And for those of you out there that own 0 Bitcoin, but you own all these other tokens, which most of those tokens will not be around in 2-3 years, might want to rethink it, because Bitcoin is going to be the one that swallows up all that money. When you see the big investors after regulation come in, where are they going to come? They're going to come into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yes, in time, some of that money will then go into, some of the big L1s, but these are going to be the assets that really take that in. So don't buy into this narrative that Bitcoin sucks, the tech is horrible, and all that stuff. Yeah, the tech is not as solid as some of these other huge projects, but as far as where the smart money will go into to look for that safe haven, it's going to be into Bitcoin. All right, guys. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.